Let's begin.
Here we go! Hi, everybody!
Start the insanity.
You are not worried, are you?
Me? No.
Well, we're waiting.
Hello, welcome to Super Media All Stars. We are a weekly podcast, and tonight we are talking about movies. I'm your host, John Harris, and I'm joined by 4 other All Stars. We got a packed room tonight, folks. The first one being Jake Boston.
Star Wars, nothing but Star Wars. Give me those Star Wars. Don't let them end.
Anthony Borich.
John Williams and the London Symphony Orchestra, everybody.
Brent Harris.
Doctor, I think I have a sore throat. That's interesting. Well, why don't you come on here and take off your pants?
And welcome our guest star back, Kevin Jensen.
Wiggity wham wham wazzle.
How's everybody doing tonight, guys?
Pretty good. I'm all right.
Ready to talk some shit.
We all, this episode is The Last Jedi. We all just saw it last night, opening night, Thursday night. It is now Friday. We've had 24 hours to let this movie seep in, so we'll be giving our full throttle on this movie. But before we dive in, guys, it's been a week since we talked. Any new movie watches or TV shows you feel like a nice throw out there?
Well, I got to bring up my SNL.
Like every week.
James Franco hosted.
And?
It was really good.
Was it?
The first half of, up to Weekend Update was every skit was strong. It was really fucking good.
So, like every weekend, every episode.
SNL?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of got crappy as it goes on, as it always does. But yeah, this week I really like James Franco hosting. Sure. Good stuff.
Was it his first time?
No, it's his 4th time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't seen any.
5-timers club.
One more and he's in.
Wow.
He gets a jacket.
I started watching, I know I'm a little late to the party, but Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt
Oh, yeah.
on Netflix. And I had been missing 30 Rock in my life, and not anymore.
How far are you in so far?
I'm almost on the second season, so
Okay.
I hit it pretty hard, and I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that show, even though I haven't started season 3 yet. There's too much new stuff coming out to where I'll get to Kimmy Schmidt whenever.
Yeah, it's excellent. It's funny. It takes you places that you don't think. It throws that comedy on its head, and I love that style of comedy. So.
I watched Blue Harvest, the Family Guy's Star Wars, to get me prepared. It was pretty funny. It still holds up. The other ones sucked, but
Well, that makes sense for your clip then.
Blue Harvest was funny.
That was a little random, but now it makes sense.
Yeah.
I watched the whole Punisher series.
Oh, I haven't even started that yet.
I haven't even touched it.
It
How
was
is
pretty good.
Okay.
It was definitely different than I thought it was going to be. It does a good job of making it reiterating what other people have done, but with how soldiers come back and have PTSD and that kind of thing. And it's not a bad thing. They do it really good job with it.
Better than Daredevil?
Or Defenders.
It's better than Defenders. It's
better.
Everything's better than
Everything.
Defenders.
Well, actually, the first half
of second
See,
season
yeah,
was
that's true.
Really good.
See, okay, but it's not as good as Daredevil, beginning of Daredevil season 2. That Punisher is way better than this one. Just, I don't know, it's good.
I wrapped up my Tobey Maguire Spider-Man trilogy with the third one.
Why are you even talking about
Right.
this?
My only point from that is underneath taking out the bad stuff, which is almost everything
Which is
Venom.
95% of it.
Venom. Take anything out Venom, that movie's still not bad.
No.
Sandman's not great.
Sandman's bad.
Sandman's
Sandman's
not great.
bad. The only thing, like I said, when you were watching it, the only thing that's good, the good that came out of that movie was the black suit. That's cool looking.
Hobgoblin sucks too.
Oh, he was
I'm
bad,
okay with that.
No.
My biggest upset is after the end of it, and I would have been okay for them to try a Spider-Man 4 or 5, but Sony was not going to let that happen. Well, I also I just wanted conclusion with Tobey's, Maguire's, Peter Parker, and Kirsten Dunst's Mary Jane. Because if you guys remember, it ends with them barely rekindling what they had, and that's where the series stops. That's where the trilogy stops right there. And it just feels like a shame to me.
That's marriage in a nutshell for you.
Wow.
Very,
I'm
very
telling
dark.
your wife.
She's going to listen and hate it.
All right, and the last thing we're going to jump into real quick is a couple of things in the news. 21st Century Fox was officially bought up by Disney this week. It was officially confirmed. A lot of assets are being figured out, but for the majority, Disney has taken the helm on a lot of those properties.
And to correct what I said last week, they own 60% of Hulu now, not just 30. They owned 30 beforehand.
They own ABC too.
Yeah.
And
which
then
sucks.
another thing I want to mention real quick is if you follow anything media and anything politics, net neutrality pass, is that the term they're using?
Yeah.
It's dead.
Yeah.
I watched that conference.
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, I watched the whole thing. It actually stopped midway because there was a security threat.
Yeah, I saw
Mm-hmm.
that.
I was like, oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
After a year of petitioning, man, I thought,
I mean, it barely passed 3-2.
Yeah,
You can't think anything anymore.
yeah, I know. Just don't think at
Just
all.
don't think.
All right, so let's bring it back. We're like I said, we
We're back.
And we're bringing it back.
We're back.
like I said, we all checked out Star Wars: The Last Jedi opening night. How this is going to work is this first part is going to be spoiler free, some general thoughts of our The Last Jedi screening. A majority of this podcast will be a spoiler section because there is so much to talk about, so many things that we did not see coming, some things we did. We're just going to go crazy in the spoiler section, so be ready for that.
You kind of have to. Like, if you're listening to this, hopefully you've seen the movie because you want to talk to somebody about this movie.
Yeah,
for
which is
sure.
why our not spoiler-free section will be so short.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's been 24 hours. Recall, what was your first thoughts leaving The Last Jedi?
Who wants
think-
to go first?
Kevin has a Star Wars tattoo, so I think he should go first.
I leaned in, so I will go first. Immediately after the viewing, I was very, very high on this movie. I thought the overall direction it was taken was interesting.
Yeah,
But
say the least.
I thought it was solid direction. I thought the acting had improved quite a bit from the first one. And I thought Mark Hamill was fantastic.
I'll go. I feel about the same as Kevin. I really liked this one. Yeah, of course, there were things that I'm going to pick apart in it. But no, I liked this one. I don't have tons bad to say about it. There are parts, but I liked it. I left with a good feeling.
I've heard nothing but positive reviews about this movie going in, so I had a very high repertoire of what this movie had to hit, and didn't hit it, in my opinion. I'm not saying this movie's horrible. I'm just saying I was kind of disappointed by it.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. I didn't watch any trailers, and anytime they came up, I plugged my ears and closed my eyes, and somehow it still did not live up to what I expected. Like, it's a great movie, but oh my god, I was telling Kevin earlier, I loved 80% of this movie, but I absolutely hated the other 20%.
Okay.
There
I'm
are some
interested
things
to see.
that drove me crazy.
Yeah.
So I sat next to Brent during the movie, and a lot of points during the movie, like I want to say 5 or 6 times, I looked at Brent going, "What?" Just highly confused, and that was my thought process leaving the movie. I was just confused. So,
I was confused.
like I said, this first part will be spoiler free. So, guys, it's been 24 hours. How's it sitting with you now? About the same?
I'm more on Brent's wavelength
Uh-oh.
now, which is scary to me. But
Shouldn't be.
Come to the
It's a
dark
movie.
side.
No,
It's just a movie.
No, I mean, I just said I'm agreeing with Brent. So
Yeah.
much.
Oh,
That's what
that's scary.
He's right. He's
The
right. About
dark
80%
side.
of this movie is fun. It's entertaining. The special effects are good. Some of the lightsaber fights are fantastic. But about 20% of this movie we could either have cut out or repositioned in a way that would have made the movie a lot better.
Yeah.
Sure. I've talked to a couple other people that aren't in the podcast about it, and they were super negative about it. There are points in this movie that I think are really cool with what might happen in episode 9. I think there are a lot of things that are bold and brash about this movie that haven't been done in a Star Wars movie before.
Agreed.
I just don't know if the story as a whole worked,
Yeah.
which is very sad to me.
I'd agree.
I want to see it again.
Yeah.
We can sit here and pick it apart, but I want to actually physically know what's coming so that I can truly appreciate what I'm watching, so that I can look for the other things. But
Very good point.
that's kind of where I sit.
It's going to be hard because this review for all of us is just a first time viewing. Like, it's going to be super raw.
Yeah.
Brent, what was your reaction? Or are you feeling now 24 hours later? About the same?
I was just able to process some of the things, which, again, I just came back to what my initial reaction to it was, and kind of like you said, confusion, and like I said earlier, just I either loved or hated, every aspect of this movie.
But were there parts that you felt like you were too harsh on? That you now that you have 24 hours to think about it, you're like,
we can get into that.
okay.
You were doing this argument for The Force Awakens. You're like, we're taking movies just too seriously these days.
No.
Because I don't think that at all. I think this movie has problems.
Yeah.
Anthony, this
And
is
I'm not fighting that. I just
this is a movie podcast, right?
right.
I'm pretty sure the whole point is to sometimes nitpick these movies.
No, like
True.
I couldn't be any more firm on the 20% that I hate. Like I hate it.
After 24 hours for me, and I kind of told you guys this before, if I don't dive too much in this film, but we are going to tonight,
Yeah.
I really enjoyed this film. Like, it's a good movie. For a Star Wars movie, like Kevin said last week, we tend to overanalyze Star Wars movies because we really like them. Mm-hmm. It's a good point, and if I do that this time, my score is going to keep going down in my final review. But jumping back to story here, how did this story flourish and work out for you guys?
I like how in your notes it just says, story. Did you like it?
Yeah, well, we can't talk in detail here. We
Yeah, I know.
really can't. There's some things shown in the trailer, but to put them in context would be spoiler.
No, I can say right now, the trailer honestly didn't show hardly anything.
No,
I did
Story plot wise.
Story.
Yep.
It was really good marketing.
I'd say this trailer did a good job of showing some good visuals from the movie, but definitely didn't give us any context or story plot lines.
No. And it
Yep.
wasn't hard to find good visuals in this movie.
That's true.
The cinematography is fantastic, and you can tell the Ryan Johnson direction really
Yep.
helped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's see, your story as a whole. Is that what we're trying to
yes.
talk about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Story as a whole.
Did it pay off? Think of it that way.
I would say overall, I liked the story. There are some side arcs that happened that I'm not a fan of, but the main story, yeah, I'll give it a good.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
I would say this story is a little long. There's some parts in the story that could have been cut, and that could have been your guys' side stories you're talking about.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
I got
just
20 minutes
spoilers.
you can
Yeah,
cut right now.
And
I think
there's-
everybody has it.
And I think there's even parts in the main story, in particular Ray, that I would even cut out myself.
Sure.
And I think we can get into that a little bit too. There are some plot twists and turns in this story that will throw you for a loop. That's my takeaway on this story.
I would say, just like what Luke says in the trailer, this will not go the way you think.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yep.
For sure. This is just like, oh, you think you know what's going to happen,
Yeah.
you smart-ass Star Wars fan? You don't.
A lot of performances and characters are definitely fleshed out more in this movie.
Yeah.
So if you're worried about character progression, you do get it here.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
And acting itself has improved.
The things they do right in this movie are amazing.
And I think, as far as performances go and characters go, they're for the most part they're pretty good.
Yeah, who was your guys' biggest surprise as far as performance wise in this movie? Who do you think did the best?
Snoke.
That was your favorite character in this, or not? You thought he was the best?
Snoke was my biggest surprise. From episode 7 as the hologram, I hated, but you actually see him as a real person, and he was menacing.
And get some screen time.
He was just amazing to me.
I could have done without his golden sequined robe, but
That's not his character
no,
performance, so that's
no,
just
no.
yeah.
That's that's a character choice that I guess he's CGI. So
So my biggest surprise, and I'm not saying this is a good thing because I actually have a lot of quarrels with this character in this movie, is Poe. Poe is a good character, and I'm going to get into spoilers in the next section, but I'm not sure I completely agree with the direction they took him in this movie.
I'd stick with Poe too, but only for negative. It's not positive.
Okay, I could see.
Positive. I thought Mark Hamill did a really good job. Like I was not expecting him to be so good.
He was
in
so
this.
good.
He brought
I
it.
really wasn't. I
Is this the best Luke we've had?
yes.
oh, by far.
Oh
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah,
100%.
See, Mark Hamill bringing it doesn't surprise me though.
it kind of does.
Kind of.
Really?
He's been out of the game.
Mark Hamill is fantastic.
does great voiceover work. I'm with you on that.
Yeah, but what movie did he? Oh,
Kingsman?
Kingsman.
yeah.
He was hammy in Kingsman.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
This, no, he brought the thunder with this.
Yeah, he was really good in this movie. Mm-hmm. But my biggest surprise was I'm just gonna cut in.
Yeah.
My biggest surprise was Kylo Ren. I absolutely hated him in Force Awakens. Like I thought,
Which
he was
that's shocking
whiny.
to me.
He was whiny and annoying in Force Awakens, and he was real good in this movie up until
Yeah.
about
That's also shocking to me.
Yeah, I agree.
Spoilers.
Kylo Ren and Mark Hamill for me.
So after reading some reviews, a lot of people praised Carrie Fisher's performance as Leia in this movie. Did she really do anything? I mean, she definitely got some more screen time, and I'm not disagreeing that she's a great actress, but did she do anything really different in this movie?
Nothing against her acting. It's just her story.
No, the main reason why people are talking about her is because she's dead.
Well, I get
so
that
much-
part. I
so
get
mu-
that part, but
In real life, he's talking.
Yeah, no. Yeah, sorry. Some things that happen in this are way more powerful even than what they were meant to be when they shot it because Carrie Fisher is dead. It's weird, it's menacing, it's crazy, it pulls at your heartstrings, and it goes a lot deeper than you would think it would.
I can't get over her pronunciation of words in this movie.
What?
Just I cannot understand her. It sounds like she's speaking with dentures that aren't fitting right.
That's-
the
I would
entire
agree.
movie.
Yeah.
The entire
What?
movie.
Yeah.
It seems like her jaw is like wired shut half the time.
Yeah.
listening,
talk like this.
especially Kevin would know, listening from her talking from the original trilogy
yeah.
to this one, she sounds like she's had her mouth closed.
She's gone through some shit. What do you want?
Some good.
She did all of this shit.
Yeah.
She was high as fuck in the Christmas special, if you've ever seen that. She was not there.
I mean, yeah. Sadly, she did actually sound like she had meth mouth.
I wouldn't go that far, but yeah, it sounded like she
Well,
had
she
lost
sounded
her
like she-
teeth.
yeah.
and-
did you guys have this problem in episode 7 too?
Yes, I
Yeah,
did.
it did.
Oh yeah.
This baffles me. I've never even thought of this. I think she's
And now that you know it, you'll listen
and
for
now
it,
it's
and it's going to
ruined
bother
for
you.
you.
Yeah, I kind
I
of
don't
feel
know.
bad now. 'Cause now you're gonna think
You
she's
didn't
like this
know-
old
you didn't
senile
notice
woman.
that. Oh.
I'll get back to you.
And then real quick, we get introduced to a new character, Rose. What do you guys think of Rose in this movie? In general thoughts.
At first, I liked her. At first, she was just cute and spunky and ready to just have a good old time with the good guys. And as it goes on, it's just like, that happened? Like, she did that? She feels that? It's
Yeah.
weird.
I was meh, and then I was like, okay, get her out.
I'm not opposed to new characters in Star Wars at all, but keep building that universe. But there's one too many here.
I like her sister better. I'll say that.
Oh,
I like the
that
character
performance
Rose.
was
Yeah.
I like the
Yeah.
character Rose, but for the sake of character cast and plot wise, I'm not sure she was needed.
No, I agree.
Yeah, her sister was way better.
That's a spoiler. I'll have to wait.
Yeah.
There's a lot of spoilers we want to go
Yep.
into. Why are you dragging this on,
Yeah,
John?
get us
Why are
in
we
there.
not
My
in this
God.
Going dry, John.
All right, you heard it from the panel here, folks. We are now entering the spoiler section.
Spoiler! Spoiler! Spoiler!
Was that supposed to be in unison? Because it wasn't.
That was the.
Oh boy, that's way too loud.
Fucking Are you a pork? Shut the fuck up.
No, he was the walrus with
my new
titties
favorite
on the beach thing. Milk me.
Did you notice that shit was blue though?
Oh,
what the fuck?
God.
And Luke was loving it.
That was a gross face that he did
Finally.
after he drinks it. Just,
Jesus.
Spoilers, folks.
Yeah. If you didn't pick up on it, we're in the spoiler section. For some reason, we started with Monster Juice milk.
Yeah. Blue walrus milk.
And the walrus was looking at Ray, just like, yeah, you want some?
You want
bitch?"
some of this?
Like I'm enjoying this, right?
All right, that's the spoiler section.
So for spoiler section, I'm gonna try and stay away from a chronological approach. I'm gonna try and take things in relationships and the moments that pertain to those relationships.
Okay.
So for the first part here, what do you guys think of the main relationship here? And I think the most exciting part of this movie to me is Rey and Kylo's relationship in this movie.
I would 100% agree.
Yep.
I thought the stuff with Kylo and Rey was fantastic.
It was better than I thought they could do.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I didn't see it coming.
I like how in 4, 5, and 6, it's the light trying to beat the dark. In this movie in particular, it's about a balance between the light and the dark.
And that's
Yeah.
kind of symbolized in Rey and Kylo's connection here.
Yep.
And I always like what they've done with these past two movies, Force Awakens and this one. What they're taking different takes on the Force and showing different aspects of it, which is nice. And this is one of the new things about it, is they are able to see each other's environments and interact with each other, and even experience the environment that they're in.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Which is amazing.
Yeah,
As far
It
as
is
Rey and
very
Kylo
cool.
go.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that aspect, but what I more enjoyed about that aspect was that they never seemed completely in control of it.
Yeah.
And they explain that away later on in the movie in a really like a one-off line where he's like,
Sure.
where Snoke's like, I was doing it the whole time.
Yeah.
As a way to like lure Rey in to figure
Yeah.
out where Luke is, which is what Snoke is dead set on for some reason.
I guess. But I liked that they weren't in control and it just kind of like popped up and it seemed like it fit really well even without the Snoke stuff. If they would have been like, we have this connection, you know, because it could have been because they fought themselves or whatever, or fought each other and they fought themselves, and if they would have connected that way, I would have been totally into it too.
Yeah.
But I'm so happy that it wasn't, oh, you're my distant brother and sister, and that's
Yeah.
why we're connected.
Thank you.
God. I was sitting there in the movie, and I said, I swear to Christ, if this
Brant
was,
said the same thing.
if this was someone, oh, we sent our daughter away so that she couldn't
yeah.
be found. No, I'm so happy that he repeated 3 times, you're nobody. You're nobody. You're nobody.
You come
parents
from
were-
nothing.
Your parents were
Junkie
nothing.
junkers.
They traded you off. I love it. I love it.
We'll talk about some
very
Star Wars tropes a little bit later, and I think that's what you're definitely implying there. But as far as Rey and Kylo go in that connection, it's such an interesting storytelling mechanic because we've seen that with Luke and his dad, kind of the original trilogy. There's a sense of them talking, sensing each other to a degree.
Yep.
Luke and Leia shared that relationship.
Yep.
But we have 2 enemy guys who are the movie very much leads you on. They're maybe they could be family, but they're
Yep.
they're totally unrelated, and they have a connection because of Snoke.
I thought Adam Driver was better in these Force connections
Yes,
with Rey, but when
absolutely.
he got back to his whiny bitch self in the third act,
That's what I said. He loses it in the third act.
he was at his all-time whiniest.
Yep.
He
But
really was.
But he needs to be that I'm fully evil now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of. I agree with Kevin in the fact that the way they do it, his character development throughout the movie, and he does a good job portraying that with his always struggling internal conflict of I don't know what's going on inside me. Like I feel like I should do some good stuff because you see him not kill his own mom, Leia, when he has the chance, but at the same time, like he's clearly still trying to prove his worthiness to Snoke.
Yeah.
So
You could see it on his face a lot, and that's where I thought the
Sure.
subtlety of his performance really
Yeah.
came in. My favorite thing in this whole thing, you talked about balance earlier, and how this movie is more about balance between the light and the dark side, and you could see that the best is when they were fighting all those like Imperial guards or whatever, like the Snoke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could see the balance between like how the 2 sides of the Force should work together in this whole thing. And when you saw that, it was beautiful.
One of the best scenes in the movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Probably if not the best. Another part of that story I really liked was they both had some scenes where they sensed a part of each other that person didn't already know. So like Kylo sensed Rey's parentage. Whether that is debatable, I think he's telling the truth. But I've heard other people say he's tricking her to trying to lure her to his purpose.
Even though Rey said, like, yeah, I know, like I'm in denial about this.
I don't think his character is smart enough to do that.
Probably not. Maybe I don't know. People are going to analyze the hell out of this scene.
Of course, they
Yeah,
are.
I don't think it's a lie. I really don't.
And I also like the part where Rey still believes at this point, and could still happen in the next movie, that there's still some good in Kylo, and she's thinks that she can save him way too early than she should.
Yeah.
That scene
That was awesome.
pretty.
I hope that's gone. I like the way they ended it with Mark Hamill and him talking to Leia. Like, I'm not gonna save him anymore. Like, I'm done. Like, I'm going
I think
to
Rey
deal with him.
realizes that too.
I hope so.
I think she just.
Oh, at the end, for
yeah,
sure.
I think she fully realizes that there's no bringing him back, and that she gets no answers from that side of the Force.
Yeah, because Kylo was looking like, please come back.
Yeah, he needed help.
Yeah, and Rey is like, no, bitch, I saved my people. I'm gone. Goodbye.
Yeah, when that final scene where that ship, the Millennium Falcon door closes, I think that's, especially with Snoke gone, whether that it's a key factor in that relationship or not, that I feel like that symbolizes that this connection's done for the most part.
And that's another thing we need to talk about, because Snoke, there was a throwaway line that he's the one that like made the connection between Rey and Kylo, but yet after Snoke is dead, they still have this connection.
Exactly.
But
What's up with that?
Yeah, I think Snoke didn't or knew how powerful she was and how powerful Ren could be, and he was just like, I'm gonna stay in control. It was me, guys.
I think he just started it, and then Kylo, because you even see when he turns on Snoke, Snoke has no idea that Kylo Ren's about to kill him.
Which is stupid.
I don't think
I
he's
don't-
as force sensitive as.
You think he just talks a big game?
No, he was pretty force sensitive.
I mean, he was ripping information out of Rey.
and
Yeah,
he
the
could
way he
just-
was manhandling Rey, it's just like, this dude is badass.
So let's talk about that relationship real quick. Jumping to those guys, let's talk about Kylo and Snoke. And what Kevin was just saying there, I think, is a good. This movie for me does a very good job of showing what we know of the very basic Sith relationship and how every goal of the Sith is to take over their master, and that's best shown here with Kylo.
Yeah, it's the rule of two. I mean, one master and one apprentice to crave it.
Yeah, in all
Crave the power.
in all these movies, we've heard Darth Sidious tell us that he did that, but we never saw it. And actually, this is I think this is the first time we've actually seen, other than Vader throwing Emperor off, but he wasn't doing it to become the next Sith. He was doing it to save Luke. But Kylo really wants to become the Sith Master.
It seems that way.
Yeah,
No, he doesn't want to be Sith
No,
anything. He wants
he
to
wants
start
to
his
be
own
nothing.
revolution.
yeah, Supreme Leader is what he calls himself.
Well, he
Like-
wants to start a new
Yeah.
galaxy.
We
basically.
we don't know this until Snoke's already dead, but Kylo's main mission is to kill everything old
Yeah.
and just start anew.
Yeah. But when he also says that he wants complete control over the galaxy, only Sith to deal in
Yeah.
absolutes.
I was gonna say that's a very Sith thing to say.
You're right, exactly.
I thought the dynamic between Snoke and Ren was very classic Star Wars.
Yeah, yeah.
The master berating his apprentice.
Yep.
Stoking the fire, expecting more, that kind of stuff. You saw the Emperor do it with Vader all the time.
Yeah.
I thought that dynamic was really well done.
But in this case, we don't have to wait at the next movie to finally see him overtake his leader.
Which is okay.
Which
I'm okay
I
with
love
that.
that. I
No,
love
and I love that
he's
too.
got a movie all of his own to be bad.
Do you think rewatching both 7 and 8, knowing that Snoke is gonna die so early and is really meaningless in the whole 7, 8, 9
really
trilogy,
meaningless.
is he gonna is that gonna damage this for you? Damage his character? Because he literally does nothing. Like in both these movies, he maybe has 10 minutes of screen time.
Yeah,
Maybe.
no, I don't think it damages the Snoke character as much as it helps the Ren character.
It doesn't damage it for me, except for the fact that I wish I knew what his backstory
Some context.
was.
Yeah.
To-
That was frustrating.
I loved every minute of him, and I was super I was shocked. At first, I was shocked that he was dead, that he got killed like that. And then when the whole Kylo and Ren were fighting back and forth, that was amazing. But then after I kind of thought about it, I'm like, I fucking loved this guy. Like he was a really good bad guy, and to me, Kylo Ren isn't there yet. I'm hoping he gets there eventually. But
Like a big bad.
Yeah.
I liked Snoke as a big bag. I hated him in episode 7, but episode 8, he was just like manhandling Rey this way and that, just like, damn, this dude means business. And then he just gets dead like a bitch.
He's too much of a Palpatine to me, though.
Yeah,
So
he was.
I wish they had spent more time building him up, and then had the same thing happen, where it would have even had more of an impact, because I would have gotten the image that this guy would have been in the 9th episode, which and then didn't happen.
I think if you would have done that in 9, though, you would have had some Star Wars fans call you out on it.
What do you mean?
well, they would have been a Palpatine comparison the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's the third movie. Of course, the
Snoke's
Emperor
gonna
has to
die.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. You still kill him in 8, but you build him up more.
So let me ask you this: would there, if there had been a scene where we see Snoke duke it out with a lightsaber, or have Snoke actually have a battle with the Force, would that have been more satisfying?
See, I don't even
No.
need that. I just need his backstory of how he became
How the hell's he a supreme leader?
Yeah.
right.
All right, so let's jump into the next relationship, and that's going to be let's jump it over to the alliance section. What do you guys think of Poe's character in relation to Leia and Holdo, kind of our alliance generals in this movie?
Wrong direction.
I thought Poe was a whiny bitch
Yeah.
in this movie. I'm sorry, a general does not need to explain their plan every step of the way to a
Right.
fucking captain.
I was talking to Kevin a little bit about this before the show, but Poe was pretty much mansplaining everything to the captain.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
Well, I thought for a second, are they going to take Poe make him our next Han Solo because he's this trigger happy, explosive kind of guy who acts on the fly?
At the very beginning of the movie, that's what they were totally trying to
That's
do.
what I got though too.
Yeah.
His story arc in general is just kind of boring. That whole scene is kind of boring.
There
Yeah.
wasn't really a story arc in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was I'm trigger happy. I'm still trigger happy. I'm pretty trigger happy.
Right.
I,
And then
Oh,
at the very
shoot.
at the very end, he's like, "No, wait, I think we should run
No way.
yeah.
7,000 people have died
because of me."
because of me.
Yeah.
Maybe I shouldn't kill these last 12.
So the other thing I want to ask real quick is, would the movie have just been, would it be more logical and maybe faster story progression if they had not just made a cut and said, told Poe the plan from the get-go instead of holding out on him?
Yeah, but why would a general explain it to a fucking captain?
They
don't
shouldn't.
need to.
They shouldn't have to.
No.
But for a plot wise, like that's gonna be your time saver is keep Poe on the edge of your plan for the sake of time.
No, I get it. In discussions I've had with people, he's Leia's like favorite, like Leia's
Yeah.
golden boy. He probably should have known the fucking plan.
Right.
The time when you know the plan is when they pull guns on you,
Yeah.
and then you're like, "Okay, this is my plan." Then you're like, "Oh, that makes sense." Instead
Maybe
of being
I
like,
shouldn't
"Oh,
fucking mutiny."
yeah, exactly."
But it took too long to get there.
Yeah.
what Haldo does at the very end,
Oh my
going
God,
into
I was like-
Lightspeed, that should have happened a long time ago.
Right.
Yeah.
That should have happened when all of them were reaching that planet. Just fucking destroy that big spaceship. Don't
Right.
wait until you're getting fired on.
But it should have been Leia flying that.
That would have been good too.
Yep.
It really would
Yeah.
have.
It would have been a perfect out for
Yeah.
her.
And then had Laura Dern just be the main
Yeah.
person.
Yep.
They should have just kept Poe like they kept him. They had him in Force Awakens, where he was a loyal, captain in the, the fighter squadron,
Yeah.
and that he was an amazing pilot. So
Yeah,
that's all you
he's
needed
the
for
best
is
pilot.
awesome fight scenes.
I totally respect trying to give him his own plotline because Oscar Isaac is a great actor. He's probably one of the best ones in this movie, but you didn't use him correctly in this movie.
I agree. I think we all agree.
So there's a casino scene, we haven't talked about it yet,
Right.
that is completely unnecessary.
Agreed.
They can apparently track people through hyperspace.
Right.
Okay.
Nope.
No, that's not a thing.
Never has been.
But that you don't need to have Finn's story on the outlier like that. You just put a spy in the Alliance, have Finn's goal be searching for that spy, and then you don't have to waste 25 minutes of everyone's time watching fucking horses things jump in.
This pertains to Finn and Rose's storyline / plot thing here. And Kevin already, great point. Yeah, the casino part, probably not necessary.
All
necessary
not
at
necessary.
all.
Finn was built up in 7 to be some kind of story function. And then he doesn't really he gets something here, but nothing that's really necessary.
If he could have been the plot point of that's how they're tracking to go through hyperspace,
Oh, like
is
if
they're
there's
tracking him
Oh, that'd
because
been
he's a
pretty
stormtrooper.
cool.
That would have been
That's
good.
the
That would've
only
been
thing that I'm
awesome.
sitting here thinking about
Yeah.
during the movie is, oh my god,
Yeah.
it's Finn.
Yeah.
there's
That's
something-
how they
there's something
found
in his
him all
Dana.
along.
Yeah.
right. I think it's fair to say we're not okay with their plot. But what do you think of the Finn and Rose dynamic?
Where they ended up, I had no
Awful.
idea how that happened.
No,
when
awful.
Rose is just like, I'm in love with you, and then kisses him. Like, first saves Finn. Anthony, go into it.
That's fine. I was so ready for like a Rapunzel,
Anyway,
Romeo and Juliet ending. Perfect. Both of them die. They had a love story, and that's all
Did
we
they have a
need.
love story,
Yeah,
though?
sure.
Have any
They
love
kiss.
story.
They kiss.
Yeah,
and that's
at the
fine.
very
No.
fucking end.
But before they kissed, before Rose said that she had feelings for Finn, was there a love story in there at all?
No, I'm
No.
other than getting to know each other, and now Finn knows her backstory.
I think
They-
it was more like you could see it in some of like her scenes, like the way she looked at him, but it was never like
Okay.
that obvious to be like, oh yeah, she definitely is in love with him.
But it takes away the love story that I was worried about was Finn and Rey.
That's not
That's
gone
not
yet.
gone?
It's not.
Are you kidding me?
It's not. He knows that Rose has feelings for him, so he's feeling sympathetic when she is in a coma or whatever. So he's right
I
there,
hope-
even though Ray is giving Finn like the fuck me eyes.
So, hang on,
Friend
hang on,
zone
hang on,
eyes.
hang on.
Friend
Really
zone.
is.
Poe gave Ray
Hang on,
the
we're-
fucking
Well,
eyes,
that too.
We could talk about the love hexagon little bit.
I hope that's gone though. I hope Ray and Finn are gone.
Okay, with Rose and Finn, Rose seemed to be a huge fan of Finn the first time that Rose sees Finn. And then at the very end, it doesn't seem like Finn has that relationship with Rose, but Rose is like, "Oh, I feel like I've always loved you, and you don't want to fight from hate. You want to fight for the people you love." And then just kisses him, and then just like, ugh.
Not a bad line,
Then
but
I
not great
passed
context.
out.
That was the only thing I liked about that story.
It was a great line.
Yeah.
No, that line is going to be on a fucking picture on a goddamn wall.
Yeah.
Well-
and it's gonna be fucking awful.
Okay, well, it's a good line, but it's going to be ruined by a bunch of random bullcrap.
If there wasn't a kiss, that would have been perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What-
because you can love somebody without being in love with somebody.
Let's be honest.
That's how I kiss. Little pick. A little peck.
That was like first
Playing
kiss
the John
bullshit.
there. Yeah, I was like, let's put our lips together. What is this fucking middle school?
Okay,
I
so
love you.
Finn's character development is through this whole the whole movie is terrible. So
yeah.
it's I'm kind of a hero, and then you meet Rose, and then their thing happened, and he's running but he's
So-
running to save Rey in a life pod somehow.
I like Rose's quirkiness. I think her character is good. I don't like Finn. I liked Finn and Rose's dynamic, but I wish Finn would have died. I think that would
Yep.
make that dynamic that much more
I was
special.
just about to say, who else wished Finn would have just died?
I was shocked when he was about to just commit suicide, literally for no reason, because the hole was already being drilled in. He's like, I'm gonna get killed for some reason. I'm gonna have a purpose in my life, and then he just. I thought that was bold when I thought that was actually gonna happen, but then Rose comes in like a bitch. And
So
it
when
just
that
fell apart.
happens, I'm just curious. Was everybody upset?
Yes.
Yes.
That he didn't die?
Yeah.
100%.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. I knew there was gonna be some. It's Star Wars.
I was
He's-
mad he didn't
was-
die in
he's a
7.
big- he's a big man. Yeah.
No, I
No.
I like Finn. I just think that would have been a very bold way for him to go out.
For
and
how crappy that storyline was, that would have been a magnificent ending.
this is the second way where a main character almost dies and plays with your emotions. We'll get into the second one, but this is just fucking kill. I mean, they did that with Snoke. Like, they killed him off, and that was bold.
That was shocking.
Because
Yeah.
right?
he meant
Shocking.
nothing to us.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
still,
but it's
imagine if somebody like Finn, who actually means something like that, died.
that would have been awesome.
Would have pulled.
It would have been
They should
awesome.
have.
It would have been awesome, and it would have served the plots better because we have too many characters already in these movies. And I think Finn, not knowing where he was really going to end up in all this, that would have been a good ending.
No, he hasn't had a plot thread through this whole thing.
Other than a defective
Other-
stormtrooper,
other than I'm running away from the First Order.
right?
And
Or-
Rebel
now I'm-
scum.
Oh fuck that! The whole fight scene that was so
right.
bad. Oh my god! Don't even. get
Well,
me started
let's just touch on that real
Chrome
quick. The Captain Phasma.
What Captain Phasma?
Well, I
She was
know
in for
that's what I'm
3
saying.
I'm
minutes.
so disappointed.
The Phasma and Finn fight, and then the only thing that was cool about that was BB-8 driving an ATST.
No, I thought that part was dumb.
So dumb.
That was
What?
dumb.
Oh
Yeah.
my god! Have you seen the prequels? That was basically, hey, remember how R2-D2 can fly now and also do all this
Yeah.
cool shit? And now it's BB-8's like, I have all these fucking attachments.
Well, that was in prior in episode 8, to where like he had like this fucking like Swiss Army knife come out of him and have like these 20 attachments trying to fix the ship that he
Yeah.
was in.
Or his thumbs up.
As far as Phasma goes,
Phasma is such a waste. I don't even want to talk about it.
I will say one thing. That scene was fucking terrible.
the fight scene.
That fight scene was fucking terrible. It had the worst dialogue in the entire movie, and it was totally fucking pointless,
And-
not long enough, and served no purpose.
Why is her like weapon of choice after her laser gun is like a
pole.
Silver Surfer like spear thing?
No, it's sad when Snoke's guards have a better fight scene than fucking Phasma.
Phasma.
Yeah. No,
Who has
those
been an
guys
actual
were fucking
character.
Well, okay,
awesome.
that's not that actually weird because they're actually well-trained fighters.
Yeah, but they
Phasma-
come out of nowhere and we don't know why they're there, and it's fucking weird. Phasma has actually
there
been
to
in
guard
episode
Snoke.
7 and 8,
What?
and
what-
she's like a huge like
Because
General Phasma. What's her name?
Captain.
Captain Phasma. Yeah.
Yeah.
Phasma.
that actually makes me happy because the Imperial troopers 4, 5, and 6
they did
are not
nothing.
given justice because
Yeah.
in the books, like they're phenomenal fighters. There's a reason why they're defending Sidious, and the same thing in this. This is why they're defending Supreme Leader Snoke, and finally they're given their justice, which is an amazing scene. And like we said, probably one of the best scenes.
You know what I didn't like about that? The one nitpick that I had was, why'd they all have different fucking weapons?
You know, why does one have a whip
Well, yeah,
thing?
like
Yeah,
That was cool. I loved the whip.
Yeah,
Well-
but why did they feel it was necessary? Like, give them all a fucking whip. That would have been fucking sweet.
what was wrong?
Each
with
one
the-
specializes in their
Here's
own.
my here's
Each one's a Ninja Turtle.
here's my thought process.
What's wrong with that?
what was wrong with
Where-
the force pike?
Which one has a sigh? I want somebody to have a sigh.
we never really see what happens to like the rest of the Wrens that Kylo supposedly turned to the dark side.
Right? Where were the other people that Luke was training?
I'm wondering if
Oh,
those
the
guards
other
play.
knights?
They're dead, right?
Yeah,
No,
well,
no. He walked off with a handful of them.
I'm wondering
that
if-
could have been them.
That's what I'm thinking because like there's a good handful there and they're really skilled fighters.
Well, were they really skilled fighters, or did they just follow?
Well, not anybody could.
Ren.
I would say not most of your stormtroopers, even Phasma, could handle electric whip or
Yeah.
sweet daggers.
But hey, guess what? It doesn't matter. We're never gonna know.
No, they're fucking dead. That guy
They're
got
just
a
cool.
lightsaber through
Yeah.
his face.
Yeah, they're just cool red samurai bodyguards.
Okay, I know you guys hate this, but bring it back to Phasma real quick.
Oh my god, with the phasma.
Stop.
Just for the sake of conclusion, when she falls in that fire, you think she's dead or is she coming back?
I hope
She's
so.
coming back.
She's
God,
coming
she's
back.
coming back, and it's so stupid.
She should have died in episode 7 when the whole fucking planet exploded,
Yeah.
Does that
and
part?
she didn't die.
But doesn't that part? Yeah, that's true.
It's never explained how she got out or anything.
I don't-
She's just there again.
It's in a book somewhere.
Yeah, I know. It'll be in a book in episode 8 to 9. Like, oh, how did she get back from falling? We don't know where she fell. She just like, oh,
we don't
you see
know.
my eyeball.
I fell
Bull's
onto
not
a
dead
TIE
either.
fighter conveniently.
Yeah, I know, right? Finn falls too, but then we see him come up.
Yeah.
all right.
It's just a hanger
Let's
thing.
jump. Let's jump to our next two people here.
Jeez.
Let's talk about the Luke and Rey relationship. When Luke tosses that lightsaber, it sets the mood for the rest of this movie because it's not what you're expecting.
Yeah, but he shouldn't have just thrown it over his shoulder. That's like some comical bullshit again. That's what he was trying to do, was played for laughs.
What do you guys think of the overall relationship between the two?
It was good. It
yeah.
took a long time to actually start getting good because he was just being like, "Oh, I don't want to do anything with this. I just want to stay here and die."
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, once he actually got going again, I liked where it was. Like when he started training her, that's
Right.
when it started getting good.
When he started training her, I thought the best part of that whole dynamic was the fact that you realize that he's completely cut himself off from the Force.
Which is really cool. Like that
I
plot
thought that was
point.
fantastic. She reaches out and says, "I can't feel you."
Right.
He's basically completely shut himself down and doesn't give a shit about the Force anymore.
Right. I really liked how too we're told what the truth is, but there's multiple interpretations about how Luke actually triggered the events of what happened with Kylo.
Which one do you believe?
I believe the final one. I think
The third one.
Yeah.
I believe the Luke where he
Sense the darkness.
realizes the error of his ways.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and-
moment of weakness.
Yeah.
And in that moment of weakness,
Luke tries to hide it the first time.
Yep.
And then Kylo Ren has his side, and then Luke is finally like, "This is what I tried to do." It's a kind of a mashup of the middle.
Yeah.
I think what happens between Luke and Rey and the whole island of they're calling it Act 2, I think. Is it
Sorry,
Act 2?
it's Act 2.
Act 2, yeah.
Act 2 of this movie.
There's a lot of cool things that happen. There's a lot of cool things that happen to both these characters. One, Rey has like an inner reflection self in that dark pit, which I think symbolizes her coming to terms with herself.
It was cool when it happened, but yeah, to me, it honestly meant nothing because she fell down. It had a cool scene, but then nothing came about
yeah.
from that.
I wish it was something to do with more with her parents.
Well, I think that's part here. I think what I took away from it was it's Rey realizing that it doesn't matter where you come from. It's all about where I decide to go from here.
Well, I thought it played up to the dynamic that she would not feel anything from the dark side of the Force or wouldn't get answers from that, and that when she gets that offer from Kylo Ren to come be with me and be this super powerful, she realized there was no answers on that side of the Force.
See, I also see it as there was two shadow figures, which we're led to believe that they're her parents, and then when they come up to the front of her, it ends up
morph
being
into her.
It ends up being Rey. Mm-hmm. For me, that's symbolism of it coming. It's not about where I came from.
Yeah, it's her. She is what she makes herself.
Yeah,
And
which could be a test to the dark side. I mean, it could easily because Luke is very afraid of that pit for some reason.
well, yeah, that's why I was kind of confused too, because he obviously had his own trial with the dark side on Yoda's planet, with that cave where he faces the Darth Vader that's actually ends up being him.
Sure.
But like he doesn't want Rey to experience that.
Right.
He's just like, don't go there. You're obviously thinking about it. You're gonna fall into the exact same thing Kylo Ren did.
And Luke also had a very great scene on this part of his development is he sees Yoda again.
Yeah, I was gonna bring it up.
That was awesome.
I fucking loved the puppet Yoda coming back and being all like silly.
Yeah,
I
and
love that shit. So
Frank
much.
Oz coming back to voice him. Just
Yeah.
oh.
So fucking much.
It was good.
And it was also good to see like even I thought at this point Luke's got to be some kind of master. No, he's still learning to be a teacher.
He's a master of the Force, but he still has things to learn.
Exactly.
which is-
Everybody does.
Which is
Yeah.
a great point. I liked where they took that.
Yeah.
And and it took Yoda to show him like burning that treehouse down. We won't go into the physics of the Force there.
It's not a tree house, John.
It's a
It's a
treehouse.
tree cave.
Tree cave, sorry.
Tree cave with books and stuff. Although, did anybody else catch that? Those books did not get destroyed.
yeah.
No.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I think Ray grabbed him. But Luke, that's how Luke kind of comes around, is having the interaction with Yoda, and just you failed Kylo, but don't give up on Rey.
Yeah.
Which
Don't-
Sam
Learn
seems
from
good.
your goddamn failures.
That's again like one of the greatest lines from that movie is the best teacher is failure.
So it started off Rey and Luke, and then towards like the third act of this movie, it very much became Luke and Kylo again. That final confrontation just became Luke acknowledging, I failed you, and if you cut me down, I'm gonna haunt you for the rest of your life.
Yeah, he pulls the Obi-Wan and
Yeah.
if you strike me down in anger,
I'll become more powerful
you
than
could never imagine.
Yeah, and like
Which I guess means he's gonna be one of them blue ghosties.
Yeah, but it was cool to where like he was still isolated in his own planet, but he was able to like get a vision. Like what did he actually do
force
to make?
projection?
It was a force projection.
Was it
Yeah.
really? Even
Yeah.
though he was still alive, it was a force projection.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
a force projection. It wasn't.
Okay.
It wasn't.
it just on a technical aspect, it made total sense because Kylo saw him the way he remembered
Yeah,
Luke.
and that's. I even
Oh,
said
yeah,
in the
that's
movie,
true.
I'm like, did he fucking spend the time to cut his fucking beard?
Yeah, I know,
So-
right? No,
well,
not knowing it was a force projection, I thought it was really cool that he survived like all those blasts, and then he just like comes out walking like a badass,
Yeah,
with dusting his
Yeah,
shoulder
that
off
shit
and
would have
shit.
been awesome if it was like him just actually doing it. Like
Yeah.
if he was there.
So I really liked where Rey and Luke ended off. I think those two are kind of on terms, especially because last thing that kind of happens between them is Rey senses him passing off to the into the forest in
Yeah.
peace.
Yeah,
which
which
is-
is awesome because it shows like the two sons are back right before he dies, which
Very
is,
nice.
calls back to Star Wars. It was really cool.
Yeah, very
And
nice
then,
nod.
Yeah, he just kind of dies like Yoda did, just like
just drifts off.
into nothing. Yeah.
Yep.
Was it shocking to you that Luke tried to kill Kylo?
No, I think
No.
Going back to that,
No.
Luke had very little training, and I think that can show why he has weakness and not be a very good teacher. And back to your point, Jake, I think it's more believable for him to wanting to kill Kylo or fear him because he didn't have a full-fledged Jedi training. But it also has me very worried, very worried for Rey. Rey had no training.
Yep.
Maybe 2 lessons in 2 days.
Yeah.
Because this movie takes place in maybe 2 to 3 days top.
18 hours or whatever. Isn't that how much? She's still got the books too. She'll read them.
Yeah, it feels like that.
Yeah, but then
From
again,
Luke's
like,
training to Rey's. Ugh.
to contradict Luke killing Kylo, like Luke had struggles too with fighting the dark side. So seeing dark, temptations within Kylo, and then wanting to kill him because of it, seems like a stretch.
All right, so we got a lot. Yeah, we got a lot of things to get through. So real quick,
Do you have another relationship? Because
No.
I've got one. Chewie and the Porg.
Yeah. Okay.
all right. So jumping on to the next section.
No, I'm sorry.
Real quick, favorite moments from this movie, guys.
No, I
let's
got
do
one that we haven't.
Then let's
talked
do
about.
rapid fire.
Oh, good.
My favorite scene in a movie this year was the complete silence as her ship hit light speed and went right through
Yeah.
the Star Destroyer.
That was good.
Yep.
Yeah.
When it went complete silence and just split that fucking Star Destroyer,
Mm-hmm.
I sat there and basically,
Yeah, and
I was sitting next to Anthony and I just started
Yeah.
slapping him.
That was
That
amazing.
was fucking sweet.
yeah,
Yep. Anthony.
had to bring it back.
Rey and Kylo Ren. They're right when they look at each other to say, "Come with me, do this." Get silent, and then they both go for the lightsaber.
Oh, when that thing breaks, it's
Oh,
pretty sweet.
And
yes,
the- like
that
the-
was my favorite part.
Yeah,
That was-
I like this. The
It's
effect, like the effects there. The wind's like blowing in opposite directions of them. The lightsabers starting to crumble. I love that scene. Good scene. Brent.
Snoke dying. I was like, oh, fuck yeah, it's amazing. And then and all the Imperial guards start to arm themselves like, thank you. Finally, this is about to happen.
Finally.
Oh god.
So Snoke was my favorite scene, but if I have to choose a different one, it would totally be the third act where it was just Kylo and Luke and the whole like revelation that the whole just Luke force projection and then him dying, like that thing. It was awesome.
My favorite scene was just kind of like nostalgia for Hoth. That whole last fight scene on Crate, the walkers lining up and approaching that. I actually don't like how the scene ended, but the build up for that Hoth vibe just
Yeah,
felt
it was-
so good.
Both fucking movies.
We already talked about this, but technical aspects, there was some practical effects in here, but the parts that really bothered me were some CGI effects.
Yeah.
In particular, Yes, I
stupid
hated.
fucking horses
I
are
hated the
bad.
CGI horses.
Thank you.
No.
I don't care if they have a real puppet for one of
That's
them.
what I liked about
don't
them.
Give a shit.
They had a real puppet for like 8 of them, and then of course when they're running, they have to do that CGI. That didn't bother me. It bothered everybody here though.
At least it wasn't pod racing.
No,
Oh my god! I thought it was gonna be pod racing.
Yeah, that's when they show the track and they're like, "What's that sound?" And I'm like, "Better not be fucking pod racing."
No,
I wish it would have been pod racing.
Ugh.
In a whole, I couldn't think of a bad like CGI in this. I mean, I'm guessing the horses are bad. I'm guessing I just missed that. I was just caught up in their mystical, magical awesomeness.
Which is funny because you usually hate anything PETA related, and
That was kind of crap. That was very stupid.
that was very
Now it's
PETA
good.
vibe there.
Yeah.
Fuck that noise.
Yeah, I get what they're trying to do there and bring it back to Rose, but didn't really pay off. Didn't really work. Exactly.
One visual effect I didn't like: Leia dying in space.
Yeah.
That
Oh,
looked
yeah, yeah.
like her being
Supermaning?
that I did not like that at all. I guess she magically had like lessons in the Force and was taught that she could like move herself. Like no one has ever been able to fly in space like
she's
that.
force pulling herself back
Yeah.
to the ship.
Well,
It
yeah,
was
I
just
know, but it's
how she
it
kept
didn't
herself
look
from
good.
imploding because she's
Yeah.
in space and dying.
Well,
It
you
didn't
don't-
look good.
Yeah, and was that a good time to show that power?
No, it was a good time for her to fucking die.
Die.
It looked like what happened with Gamora and Star-Lord in Guardians of the Galaxy, and
Yeah.
that was
Except-
what, like 6 years ago?
Except mining minus the like frost.
It
moth
did that
they
a
get on-
little bit, but
Yeah,
didn't do it
not
to the
much.
extent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then one other act thing for Brent's sake, I forgot to get back to was our DJ character.
Yeah.
Benicio del Toro.
I
Yes.
liked him as a character.
Yeah.
I didn't like where he went.
No,
He might
I
be coming
completely
back.
agree.
He'll be coming back, but
I hope so.
I don't think
See,
so.
For me, one thing I took away from him was very short plot, and I'm not sure if he was completely necessary, but it was cool to see him have a very short scene where he says, "It doesn't matter what side you're on, what you consider dark or light.
Yep.
This is how the world is. There's people here at that casino place, Canto Bite.
Yeah.
They're selling weapons to good and bad people.
Yeah, I love that scene where he shows Finn like what people are, these guys that are at the casino, what they're selling, how they make the money, and both of them are making parts for both sides, and they're just fighting each other.
I wish he would have been saying that to Ray though, not
Yeah.
Finn, because that would have made a lot more sense as far as like bringing balance to the Force and how like this is the actual power in the galaxy is the people that are playing both fucking sides. It's not just dark versus light. It's people that are profiteering off of all this shit.
Right, and there's more to the galaxy than good and light, and there's a
Exactly.
lot of gray area, which this movie's all about gray area.
Do you guys really want DJ to come back? Like
No,
I'm
I don't-
I'm
I
okay
give-
with
I
what he
give a shit
did.
less
I
about
think there's
Benicio
more.
del Toro coming back.
I want to believe there's more to him.
I want-
Because the way the very last scene that he's in, where he's collecting his loot, and him and Finn exchange several looks, leads me to believe there's more there.
I kind of wish he would come back in a side movie.
Sure.
well,
No, I could
maybe.
see that. Is the only way you're saying that is because he's Benicio del Toro though?
I think so, man.
Because that holds a lot of weight.
But his character's so interesting.
Yeah.
Like he's this in between guy who just does.
But I think
what he
that gets
does.
fleshed out more later.
if they ever make a Jabba the Hutt movie, like the gangster movie that they were in theory of making,
Yeah.
I would like to see that character in that.
That,
For
yeah,
sure.
I would
especially
like
if they
to
bring
see
back
him-
Fat Man. I said
Sure.
Fat Man, but Fat Man.
Man.
Yeah.
Man. So we're running a little long a time, but wouldn't it be a proper conversation if we didn't talk about the ending of this film and what this movie tells us about the future and the direction these movies go? But then we're showing a kid who has force sensitivity because he pulls a broom towards him and he looks to this guy like Luke did in kind of A New Hope, kind of thinking about space and having hope in the rebels, or what is the time, the resistance. What does that tell you guys, and what are you hoping for with this scene? What does this tell you?
To me, that's the only reason why this Finn and Rose side story was needed to be in this movie. Because it introduced us to these little kids, and then it can show that, oh, it doesn't matter who you are, there's always going to be hope. Anybody can have these Jedi powers. Doesn't matter how big or small you are in the world.
So come episode 9, we'll fast forward probably a year and a half, 2 years to Rey having a army of these kids
No way. in
No.
hell.
I don't
That
think
will not
they're all
happen.
going to
at
be kids.
Leia's
No.
death.
They're not all going to be kids.
No.
That-
I
that's the
honestly-
thing, though.
I honestly don't think that kid will show up in episode 9.
Oh, he will.
Why though?
At the very end, the rebellion is like down to like
Well, sure.
20-ish people. You have, especially with like when the distress call went out, nobody came because nobody really cared.
Good point.
So the kid especially had like the rebellion ring on, like he's ready to go, like he believes, and that's what you need. Like if they grow up with this belief, they have a better chance of actually going out and helping.
This movie, this one that we just watched, took place about 10 minutes after the last movie ended. It seems like, right?
It picks up right where the Force Awakens
Right where
left
the Force
off.
Awakens left off.
Yeah.
If they follow suit with that, even if it's a year down the road, that kid's 9 years old. What the fuck's he gonna do?
So for me, I interpret this as more of a Ryan Johnson plug.
B?
I was thinking more for us as viewers, like, oh man, there's kids who are becoming Force sensitive. What does that mean for Star Wars?
Yeah,
There.
Luke thought he was the last Jedi and that the Jedi were dead once he died.
But I also want to talk about real quick, to a degree, you guys can chime with your own 2 cents here. J.J. Abrams did a hardcore job of playing on nostalgia and setting up a lot of characters in Force Awakens in the beginning of their stories. And I feel like there's a continuity difference with him and Ryan Johnson, where Ryan Johnson went in this one, and now we have Abrams coming back for 9. Where do you see this going? Did Johnson change too much, or do you see Abrams bringing it back to standard Star Wars trope? Because Johnson surely didn't go that way.
Ryan Johnson is very like bold and brash with his decisions. He takes chances. J.J. Abrams does not. He just plays for the masses. And that's why I don't like him doing Episode 9. It's going to be fucking safe. But just like Episode 7 was.
To play upon all the points we talked about tonight, do you think he gives Rey parentage? Do you think he gives Kylo redemption? Because he's J.J. Abrams. He follows these Star Wars tropes. Do we get that in 9 with Abrams?
I'm very worried about 9, actually, with JJ taking the helm again, because, like Jake said, he goes for what will play to the most people all of the time.
And that makes sense for Episode 7.
Yes, because that's what you wanted in Episode 7, is bring as many people as possible back into the Star Wars universe.
Yes.
That prompts my next question, though. We've already had the discussion that prior to the podcast that we have Star Wars fans who are upset with the direction Johnson took. And we have Star Wars fans who wanted this change, and now some of them are not sure what they wanted. Do we need Abrams to bring it back to a Star Wars trope, or do we keep playing to the difference?
I think we played just a whole new person.
Those same people said that Force Awakens sucked.
Fair to say that Disney is probably taking the safe bet with bringing Abrams back for 9.
Yeah.
And it's also fair to say that I don't think Star Wars fans know what they want.
They don't need that, though, because the Star Wars logo will carry it itself. Like, they don't need him to do that,
I don't
baby
know.
it.
I think
The way reviews are going right now, it's very interesting because critics love this movie and audiences are not liking it. It's at a 54% right now.
It's hit or miss.
it's weird. Star Wars fans got upset about something.
Yeah, but I feel like The Force Awakens was just like, oh, this is a good start. And
I think
J.J. Abrams did that. So I'm hoping that he's able to close the gap that he opened.
Yeah, it was a good start, and then you hear about a month later, everyone was just like, well, it
Yeah.
was just fucking New Hope.
It's
So
like,
here's-
I loved it,
Yeah.
but I hated it.
But it was just New Hope. Give me
Another
something
Death
new.
Star, really?
It's like, give me something new, and then all of a sudden we give them something new, and they're like, well, this is fucking bullshit. Give me
This
the
wouldn't
shit I
happen
like.
this wouldn't happen in my Star Wars.
So, real quick, also, do you think Johnson played too much into the un-Star Wars because of the feedback from Awakens? Does Abrams go back to the Star Wars tropes because, let's say 2 years from now or a year and a half from now, people legitimately settle on this movie being too much not Star Wars and they don't like it?
If anybody can have a satisfying ending, just like with 7 was good. I feel like he can make Episode 9 good as well, and I'm really hoping that he can.
I think Ryan Johnson made the Star Wars movie that he wanted to make.
Yeah,
that's
fair.
I think it seems like he's been a fan for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just like, this is what I would like to see. And I'm going to turn it on its head because everyone thinks I'm going to go this way.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do it this way.
Yeah, and I think I can honestly see the audience, Disney, listening to the audience feedback a year and a half from now and maybe making some adjustments to 9 if it's not what fans wanted. I could just see that.
I think that's a bad idea, though.
It's
All right.
a weird choice.
As much as we could
Marvel
keep
movies.
as much as we could
That's
keep
why.
talking.
Yeah. Well,
We could talk all night about this stuff.
Yes, we could.
But let's jump into numbers real quick. Thursday night numbers showed that $45 million was its first haul on opening night, Thursday night. And as of right now, they're talking like a total for Friday up to $100 million. The possible 202 to 208 is the rough projection right now for the weekend.
202, baby.
And then, so we'll see how that turns out. But to bring it back to us, we got to give a star review for The Last Jedi. Guys, who would like to kick it off?
Going off what Brent and I have both said tonight, that 80% good and 20% bad. That's pretty much 4 stars.
That's exactly the number that I had, was 4 stars.
So you like Force Awakens better?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah, like Kevin said, 80% good, 20% bad, 4 stars.
Okay. I think I'm gonna do 3.5 out of 5. I think it's on par with Force Awakens, even though it takes bigger risks.
I totally get that because I'm right with you. I'm at 3.5 stars, and to compare this to Force Awakens didn't hold up for me as well over time. I got the gut suspicion that this movie's going to get better for me over time, so I'm going to give it 3.5 stars now, just based off my initial impression. But I think a year and a half from now, I'm going to enjoy this movie more, and I think I'm actually going to enjoy it once I get more context from 9. All right, guys, let's go ahead and jump into the last portion of our show, and that is trivia. And looking back to the trivia master position is Brent Harris, bringing in all the new clips, and according to the rest of the table, the better of the trivia masters, the true trivia.
Aragon bullshit.
The trivia master.
Whatever.
All right, K-Pax, calm down over there.
Hey,
Okay. I am ready. You guys ready?
Let's do it.
Clip number 1.
Maybe you're just better with the old integers than you are with people.
This sounds like a
First grade
horrible
teacher, she
movie.
told me that I was
Tinker
born
Tailor
with
Soldier's
2
Play.
helpings of brain, but only half a helping of heart. Wow, she sounds lovely. The truth is that I don't like people much.
Wait a minute.
Beautiful Mind?
Russell
Crowe.
Correct. Beautiful Mind.
I haven't
Nice.
watched that forever.
I've never seen it.
Wow.
I feel like I'm okay with missing A Beautiful Mind.
It's a good drama.
All right.
Kevin takes the first point of The Beautiful Mind.
Alrighty. Clip number 2.
Make a place scream.
Jealous, no, it doesn't sound.
Look, I'm tired of
So what's the next way for
If you can't
Wally.
Correct.
Nice,
Ding, ding,
bud.
ding.
Anthony's got 1 point.
Doesn't
Kevin's got 1 point.
Doesn't it feel good to get a point without being on your phone?
Yeah, it does.
Looking it up.
All right.
God, I knew it right off the first music.
Good luck with this last clip.
Cool.
What the bloody hell do you think you're doing?
Oh, God. Clockwork Orange?
Yeah!
Darn it!
Well done.
Wait, so we got a 3-way tie then.
We've got a 3-way
Sure do.
tie.
Dun, 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 dun.
I knew
Guys,
that
we're
one
in a
too.
3-way.
The music. Yeah.
Tiebreaker.
Classic.
That's a good one.
Combo breaker.
All right, boys, we ready?
Yep.
Get the
Do it.
tiebreaker.
Let's do it.
National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Yep.
Woo! Still undefeated.
What a nice seasonal clip, Brent.
That was good. Still undefeated. Thanks, Brent, for getting that one
You're a
in there.
douchebag,
No
John.
problem.
So, Kevin becomes the winner of tonight.
Oh, damn. I'm never going to get invited back.
God, Kevin is 4-0 in trivia.
All right, well, that being said, that has been episode 24 of Social Media All-Stars. We thank you for joining us. We can find us on all kinds of social media these days. First one being Facebook. Find us on Social Media All-Stars there. Please like and subscribe and follow. You can follow us on Twitter at SmashPod. You can follow us on Instagram at Super Media All-Stars.
I have my own Instagram account, Steelbook Obsessed. On the YouTube channel, I'm about to post my Star Wars trilogy Steelbooks, and I think we're gonna do like top 10 movies of all time pretty soon in the next couple weeks.
Yeah, we're going to try to squeeze that in. So,
Yeah.
a lot of great discussions coming up there as well.
Mhm.
Feel free to follow us on or listen to us on Google Play. If you're an Android user, you can listen to us on the radio and tune in radio on the internet. And then be sure to follow and subscribe to us on your Apple services for podcasting. Guys, I thank you for joining me tonight. Audience, thanks for listening. We will see you next time.
Wing.
See ya.
Wing.
Bye-bye.
May the force be with you.
Game over, man. Game over.
Bye bye.
I am out of here.